Okay, this is the final piece of the Fifth Force presentation. This is a workshop module. You may wonder why it's here. The answer is that if I'm out doing a large group, and I can get 90 minutes with them, or if I can get sometimes say a 1 hour talk and a reception after where they can do some things, I'm interested in leaving people with a completely unforgettable experience. And so I know that any lecture that I make, no matter how skillfully I put it together, is perishable. I mean, people are going to forget what I said, most of it. They'll remember a few things after maybe a month. So what we really remember are experiences and experiences with emotional context. And this is an experiential exercise I've done all over the world, Japan, China, you name it. People love this exercise. And by the way, if you had to do one thing to bolster a team, one single thing to make a challenger not blow up, or have Hubble not have a flawed mirror, or on and on and on, it's this authentic appreciation. It's the deepest need. I want to take you back to Maslow's needs hierarchy I showed you earlier. Remember the needs going up, the physiological needs, then security, and then this one. We all need it. It's just absolutely true. So if you can learn to habituate this and do it, you'll find it very, very moving and meaningful. I did this in Germany and Hanover a few months ago. And interesting thing, this is not unusual. This is a kind of more typical. I finished my talk and people came up to me and said, well, we just don't appreciate in German. And by the way, that's the most wonderful talk. So while people are gushing with appreciation, they're telling me they don't do it. And the reason that I'm telling you about this particular one, there was a man there about in his 40s, ran a small company. He said, by the way, what I do in here is I had them get up and get in circles of maybe 5 to 10 people each and go through the circle. If you can deputize a few helpers beforehand, help people go do this, organize them, decide who's going to start and go through this, do the gratitude first, as you'll see, then the appreciation. The guy said, when I'm standing there and you asked us to do this, and I'm like number 4th in the group, and I said to myself, I can't possibly do this. There's no way I can possibly say what I'm grateful for. Then 3 other people did it, and I got it. No problem. I did it. Then I thought, well, I can't possibly appreciate. That's not going to work. And then 3 people in front of me did it. And what you usually will see, and then, by the way, then he said, and then I had no problem doing it. So I do this with teams, technical teams, and what happens often is in the workshop settings, the first person is a little timid, second person does it more easily, third person does it naturally, and by the time I get to the 4th and 5th person, they're saying, can I do 2 or 3, please? This is a very natural human thing once we get used to doing it. What's the importance of it? This behavior creates a fifth force context of mutual respect and open communications. And once again, like I showed you earlier, this feeds on itself, making it easier to do the behavior and strengthening both. This is part of my life, and I'll tell you, I just live in wonder every day of what this does for me. So look at this. This is broad research. You know, Gallup is an international research company most of the time. 70% report receiving no praise or recognition in the workplace. 64% of those who leave their jobs say it's because they don't feel appreciated. This was very recent. I read this in the New York Times during, just to date this should be in the early summer of 2013, a new worldwide Gallup study. 70% hate going to work. Look at that. Or mentally checked out, roaming the halls, spreading discontent. I think you probably know this is the 80-20 rule. See if this is true for you. This is true in most businesses, I'm sure. About 20% of the workers are giving all they can. There's nothing you can do to motivate them to do more. Another 20% don't want to give more no matter what you do. The 60% in the middle say they would give more to their work if there were more in it for them. What is the more that they want? Now, bosses typically tell you it's money, and money's, when administered properly, is a good symbol of appreciation, but it's the emotional need in the end. They want to feel appreciated. So people used to say to me, well, Charlie, if I start to express authentic appreciation, will this take more time? My answer is, I don't know if it will or not. Here's what I am pretty sure about. If you make it a habit, you won't experience it as taking more time. How about bosses? What do you think happens when bosses move up the organization? Do you think that their human needs for appreciation are more or less likely to be met? I think almost surely less. As they move up, people tend to become more isolated. And they're all people. And why don't we appreciate bosses? You know the names we have for this. Here's some cartoons. You can all tell me if you want what names you use, but I think you'll recognize most of these. And look at this. This is fascinating research. Departing CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. These are the guys with the $20 million salaries and the helicopters and the jets and all this stuff. They cite lack of appreciation as the primary reason for leaving their jobs. We all need it. How about this? Dilbert. You wrote last year's date on this report. Haha, Swift. I enjoy pointing out your mistakes because it makes me feel better about myself. I wrote this last year. This will go faster if you say you didn't. Or how about Bart Simpson's dinner blessing? Dear God, we paid for all this stuff ourselves, so thanks for nothing. Now, you probably didn't notice, but I've been taking you, as I will over and over, through AMBR, attention, mindset, behavior, result. And I've been working with the A, the attention, bringing your attention to things you probably don't think much about or have not thought much about. Now we're going to move into the mindset. And people say to me, my biggest worry about appreciation is how to make it authentic. And the surest way to make something authentic is to make it your actual experience. Experiences are completely authentic. So this is about the mindset of gratitude. Look at this. A thankful heart is not only the greatest virtue, but the parent of all other virtues. Cicero. I maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder. Chesterton. Comedian Ben Stein. We are all heirs and heiresses to a society of freedom and plenty that most of us did absolutely nothing to earn. So is it a choice to live in gratitude or not? Can you choose to see the glass half empty or half full? Yes, I absolutely believe we can choose how we want to live. So I work to live in gratitude and abundance, which I won't talk about now, but in the workshops I do. So what we're going to do is help you move this to a really powerful part of your brain. And so when you stand up and speak in, quote, public, you cement an idea much more strongly than when you ruminate about it yourself. So we're going to put you in circles, have you pick who's going to start first. You're going to stand in the circle and you're going to speak to what you're grateful for about in your life or your work. Do not express appreciation for a person. That's step 2. So say something just like this. I'm grateful for, and my example is, the opportunity to work with people motivated and dedicated as you, or I'm grateful for my children, family, parents, whatever. Think about what you're grateful for. And by the way, after you go back home, please take 30 minutes, go to a word processor and write this down, and then type it and put it someplace you can find it. Some people put it in their desk drawer. Some people put it right on the wall. I think a really nice idea is to put it on your bedstand, and the last thing you do before you go to sleep at night is to meditate on what you're grateful for in your life. So that's step 1. Now step 2, the expression of appreciation. If the person's in the room, you want to look them in the eye, speak directly to them saying, Junko, I appreciate you for being a delightful person to live with. If they're not present, tell the group what you appreciate about that person, and then later you will finish with, and I'll tell them as soon as I see them. If they're in the room, the process completes when they look you in the eye and say, thank you. So here's the same process summarized. It'll be on the screen for you. Do it exactly like this. And as each person completes their appreciation, let's boost them with a little glad group emotion. Let's do a little applause for them. So here's the standard in our assessments. It's called HAPS. You do it habitually. Habits are our personal bureaucracy. Authentically, which comes naturally if you live in the mindset of gratitude. Promptly, the sooner or better, the better. Appreciate them proportional to their contribution. And then specific, the more specific, the better. So if you want to master appreciation, go ahead and start running IDAs. If you do them just for yourself, get a dashboard and run them for yourself. It's free. And this behavior will gradually become a habit. I think it takes 2 years of IDAs every 4 to 6 months to cement a behavior home. But once you've got it, you'll probably keep it. Now, a friend of mine, FBI agent, went up to the World Trade Center after 9/11. When he came back, I said, you know, Jeff, what did you learn? And he told me this. Many words were spoken into the ears of the dead that they yearned to have heard while they were alive. Let's listen again. Many words were spoken into the ears of the dead that they yearned to have heard while they were alive. So if you're in one of my workshops, I'd give everybody an action item to go and appreciate someone in their life that they care about tonight. It could be by phone if they're not there, or in person. And we would normally ask for reports the next day, people who did this, what happened. It's interesting, the range of things range from, it's so routine that you just didn't even notice anything special, to someone believing that's manipulation for sex. It's just the dynamic range of this depends on how well and how frequently you practice this in the past. So the takeaway slide here is commit to living in gratitude, the mindset, and then develop the habit of expressing authentic appreciation. This feels good. It opens communications, creates high performance. I didn't show you the data here, but in the workshop slides you can see the data. This is a very powerful effect on longevity and health. And you're meeting everyone's need, which doesn't matter whether you're Chinese or German or French or American, whatever. We all need to feel appreciated. So at this point, I'd say get up, form in the circles, decide who goes first, and go do the exercise. Again, this works really well after you finish a formal presentation. And if someone has you're fortunate enough someone has some kind of a wine and cheese or something, do it then, and people will report amazing transformations. That's it for the Fifth Force. Lots of stuff. Hope you enjoyed these videos, and hope they support you in going forward into changing the world yourself. Take care, and thank you for going along with me on this journey. Good day wherever you are.